Hi, I'm Zach, the nonprofit guy. Welcome back to Beyond Giving, the best nonprofit podcast on the Boost Network, sponsored by Nonprofits HQ and The Boost. This episode, we've got a good friend of mine, Asantewaa, and she is representing her organization, Food Horizons. So tell us a little bit about yourself and Food Horizons and what it is you do.
Hi, my name is Asantewaa. I'm a chef by profession, and I run a nonprofit called Food Horizons. And we're basically in the business of helping people expand their horizons on food, culture, and sustainability. And we do that through, we have programs and events that we host to bring people together from diverse backgrounds. For example, we have panel discussions, and we have a festival, which we'll talk about later. And we also have a quarterly newsletter we write, just kind of giving insights into the food industry and different policy making changes in the food industry.
Okay, cool, awesome. And so I want to kind of go back to, you said you're a chef by trade. I've had your food, you are a chef, like it is delicious. How did you find that path? How did you start working with food? And how did you get so dang good at making food?
Thank you, Zach. I like that. And you still haven't seen most of my delicious food.
Well, I look forward to tasting more and more of your food.
Actually, it started in high school. I knew I wanted to do two things, food and travel. And my mom is one of the greatest chefs I've ever known. I know a lot of people say that, but she kind of has a technique with different styles of cooking. And everything was always delicious, made from scratch. And my dad used to travel a lot, even though he's in academia. And so I was like, I want to do those two. And I went on to hotel school in South Africa. And then I just took
Wait, so are you a hotelier? Is there another level to this?
No, but they call it hotel school, but here it could be culinary school.
Oh, okay.
And so I did food and beverage management, hospitality management for my bachelor's. And then in 2022, I did a master's in food business at the Culinary Institute of America. So it just started since almost 15 and continued until.
So it was just a passion that you've had since you were super young. And now when you started when you were 15, right, you started cooking, you hadn't gone to culinary school, you hadn't, didn't get all these fancy credentials that you have now. So what has your cooking looked like when you first started at 15, and how has it evolved to what I know from today?
Firstly, when my mom started teaching me how to cook, I hated it because, as a kid, you just want to have fun and you feel like they're interrupting your time. And I don't know, when I went to high school, we had this culinary class.
Okay.
As an elective, and I just got involved, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. And I really loved it, and I continued to explore different ways of telling food stories. I call myself a food storyteller.
Food storyteller.
So I'm doing it through food dishes I create, writing, or events. It's all about telling food stories.
Okay. And does this surface in the way you plate dishes, or the way the ingredients that you put into these, or how do these stories kind of surface in your work?
How it surfaces, so I would say plating is actually not as easy. It's almost like looking at an abstract artist and saying it's so easy until you have to do. You're like, oh, he wasn't just throwing paint on a canvas or something. So I would say for me it's the ingredients and how I bring everything together. I focus on the flavor and the story, how it connects to me. So I have lived experiences in Sudan, South Sudan, and South Africa, and now America. And in those places, they had different cultures that kind of meshed together. And so my story is in that dish I create and where it comes from and how it connects me to the world around me, yeah.
And so do all of your dishes have kind of influences from those different cultures that you've experienced? Or do you kind of do you have one particular area of the world that you model your food after? Or what is that like?
I don't have a particular area, because my world is already meshed. We grew up in, for example, in Sudan, we had a bit of, they refer to it here as Mediterranean cuisine.
Okay.
And then we also had a bit of influences from Kenya and Uganda, who had Indians.
Oh,
so
okay.
my mom would make curries and chapati, which is like roti. In South Africa, they also make roti because they had an Indian immigrants that went there as well.
Okay.
And so it's always going to be a bit of feta cheese here, a bit of curry here, a bit of, I can have a chocolate chip cookie and brownies for dessert. So it's kind of this world coming together. And from my own personal region would be like, we make spinach with peanut butter, like a creamy spinach.
Okay.
Instead of using cream, we use peanut butter. So it's all these different cultures that mesh together with the diversity of people that kind of travel to South Sudan, Sudan, Egypt, Kenya, Uganda, and then you have South Africa and the US. Just the world is really more diverse than we think.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then so this like experience and passion for food is kind of what led you to Food Horizons and starting that organization, right? Can you tell me a little bit about what that experience was and when you decided, oh, this is the path for me. I need to start this organization. I need to bring food into, because like I know a lot of people, food for me is tedious, right? It's like I have to eat, so it's repetitive. It's boring. It's a necessary thing that I have to do, right? And then when I'm talking to you, it's like food is like this amazing thing that's an experience. That's granted, I've tasted my food until I've tasted your food, right? So it was not an experience for me. But like, how did you decide that yes, Food Horizons is what I need to be doing and where I should be focusing my energy?
So I was conflicted, firstly, because I loved the culinary art part of it. And I knew I loved the theory. And I loved reading about food news, policy making, food trends specifically. I'm interested in the future of food, especially with food tech, not necessarily only like equipment, but more into how it relates to changes in cooking styles, changes in eating habits. And I was like, how can I put both and create something that I can play around with this passion? For a lot of us as chefs, it's mostly either they're in culinary or they're doing academia. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want both worlds. And that's when Food Horizons kind of came to be. I actually started with secret food stories first.
Oh, okay.
And I was doing a lot of cooking demos online, like sharing my recipes. And I was like, but I also want to write, you know?
Okay.
So then I started writing. And I was like, but now if somebody came for the recipes, maybe they're not interested in the policy and research and advocacy. So I'm like, maybe I have to do two things. And then I'm like, how can I still blend the two, you know? Right. So I kind of said, okay, secret food stories will be for like your outward events and marketing, and then Food Horizons would be for those who are really, so it's still the umbrella, but it's kind of focused on those who are in the policy making, working in the professional in this industry, and other people who are enthusiastic about that part of food. Yeah. That's
awesome. And so you kind of have both components, right? You have the delicious, tasty component and the more educational, like you mentioned a couple of times, like the policy side of food. What are we talking about, like food ingredient requirements that the FDA sets, or like what are we talking about when we say food, like policy? So
when I'm talking about policies, I'm following in change, if there are any changes in, it could be, for example, removal of certain ingredients or item in highly processed foods, and California kind of push forward a new law to remove red dye and certain elements. I'm really interested in that and finding out how does that impact manufacturers as well, and what will that impact the whole of the US? Because if California is saying we won't allow this, then manufacturers cannot, it'll be too expensive to create two different products.
Exactly, yep.
And so it's interesting how one state can set the kind of precedence for the whole country, you know? So those kind of changes, or if they're saying ban on plastic or something, you know, and how is that impacting your buying habits, and what retailers doing about that, but still related in the food industry. Or for example, recently about the shutdown of USAID. I wrote an article about it on the Food Report about how this will impact US farmers, because everything is connected. And when you're not in the industry, you think it's just an isolation. And so I'm always connecting it to what does it mean to the farmer and to the consumers at the other end. Yeah.
And so you're following the policy to really understand how it wholly affects society, essentially, right? And then on the educational piece, so like the first event of yours that I attended was that panel where you were talking about like dieting and nutrition and that sort of thing. And this was a really cool, some of the points that they made was a way to position food in kind of a way that I've never thought of food before, right? And to be fair, my diet is mostly Monster energy drinks and hot Cheetos, right? So not the best. But when you take these through these different events and you take the educational piece, that is a large like cornerstone of the different events and things that you do for Horizon, right? Or food Horizons, right? Is kind of educating people about the food that they're consuming and what is in it or like that sort of thing.
So yeah, we do that because once again, I want to connect with people. I want to expand their understanding of the food, not specifically industry, but just how it relates to them individually, and that they have a role in this whole industry. And the more aware they are, the better they can kind of, even if changing your own habits regarding sustainability or your physical wellness and understanding how things impact you. And so with that panel discussion, because this year our theme is chasing health, so every year we'll focus on one theme and just hone on that, write articles about it, create events, and even just all around that. And so it's really about, we're chasing health. What does it mean to you? What are the experts saying? What is the chef saying? What's a doctor, a professor who's in health, public health, and nutrition? What are they saying about what is happening? And then advising you. And it's open to anyone who's a food enthusiast or just really interested in learning different things. Yeah.
Yeah, because like each of those groups, you know, doctors, nutritionists, chefs, all of those groups kind of play a really big role in what goes into food and how it gets there. And most people don't actually know, you know, most of the time what it is they're eating or how to change what they're eating or their diet to really elevate their health, right? And so I think that was something that one of the interesting takeaways from your event that I attended was that kind of different perspective on it, but also kind of translating all of that stuff. You have a lot of information coming from a lot of different places, and it's not always prepared for the average person to consume and know how to do something with it to make it actionable, right? So I think that's why, you know, the advising part and the educational piece of Food Horizons I think is so important, right? Because it helps people understand what it is that all these experts are actually talking about and how it applies to them. Even beyond that, like what is my version of health, right? You're chasing health, so what does health to me look like? So that's pretty cool. So how old is Food Horizons?
Oh, we're 1 year old.
1 year, oh, exciting. Wait, when is your 1 year birthday?
It'll be in April.
Okay.
So we registered in April, but then the first event under Food Horizons was in January this year. But we already had our festival last year, June.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've just kind of been online for a while, and then I was like, you know what, I need to now get out there and do in real life events, which, by the way, was a crazy adventure.
Well, after editing the promo graphic a billion times minutes before the event.
That was so helpful in that, by the way. Thank you, Zach. It was not even that, just for the festival itself.
Yeah.
So just like slowly coming out of the behind, like just being online and sharing stories.
Being more like very visible and public about it. So tell us about the festival. What is it? What happens there? What can we expect this year?
Oh wow. As much as it kind of, I learned a lot from it. It was exciting, and I told myself, because I'm crazy, you know. Innovators are all crazy people, and
got to be at least a little bit crazy to innovate.
And I wanted to bring the stories to life, and I felt like, how can we now bring everybody on board, not just the professionals and the enthusiasts and the stakeholders, but just everybody to come and see, hey, if the theme is chasing health, let me see what chefs have created. And let me look at what artists have created and what's the panel discussion and what are community organizations doing. So Secret Food Stories Festival is bringing everybody together from an amazing party. We have chefs' tables. They create bite-sized items.
Amazing. I'm already going to be there.
And we're going to do this again this year. We have artists, so they create unique artworks for the festival. And we'll have a panel discussion as well related to the theme. And then we have nonprofit organizations or companies that are working around related to the topic as well. And then we have a live band. So it's food, music, a bit of discussion, but just learning and interacting in a kind of what's the word? I don't want to say scary way, but just kind of an approachable way, you know?
So like the Secret Food or Food Stories Festival is kind of like the culmination of all of your work around that theme for the year. It all kind of comes together in this large community environment for people to enjoy the food, which I'm very much looking forward to, and kind of learn more about whatever the theme is that year. So the festival also kind of aligns with your theme of the year?
Yes, it does. So that's the most exciting thing. And oh my gosh, you just have to come and see the chefs. So last year we focused on waste. So it's called Waste No More.
Okay.
And the chefs created like minimal waste items. Somebody did something with like watermelon, and they used the whole watermelon like made juice and then had like watermelon candy.
Okay.
So they were just so creative. It's like this show and tell, really. I had a lot of fun, and I'm so proud of them because they just showed the different ways you can take care of yourself, you know,
right.
like promoting sustainability and wellness. And so that's the real essence of the festival.
And so along the theme of chasing health, what can we expect from your chefs at this year's event? What types of stuff do you think they're going to bring and show us? And
well, some of them I might be able to guess, but I want to say I don't know honestly, because everybody has unique ways of doing things, but I know that expect it to be delicious because that's the first. I don't believe in eating non-delicious food. There's no reason to do that, and that's torture, and I think it's unfair to the ingredients and the people.
That's such a chef answer. It's unfair to the ingredients and the people to have not delicious food. No. I love that.
And I am an advocate for delicious doesn't mean tasteless, so I know it'll be delicious. And I know it'll even be like one of our chefs last year, which could even be done this year. She had a carrot cake, and she doesn't use sugar, for example. Okay. She uses carrot juice.
And that's naturally sweet?
Yeah, it was really sweet. So even just things you don't think would be sweet or you don't think will be maybe crunchy, somebody could do something baked, but it's crispy, you know? So those different ways you can use at home and still have that flavor and texture you're looking for, but in a more healthier version. So I think that's what they'll probably bring.
Okay, exciting. But so we know, the one thing we absolutely know is that it will be delicious. Yes. And it will be educational, informative, right? Cool. I go to a lot of events like with our customers and just in general throughout the year. And I think your event had easily the best food. And it was crazy because I know we were talking about on your Food Horizons panel, we were talking ahead of time and you were like, oh, I think this chef is going to bring sandwiches. And then you were like, and then she said this pairs well with soup. So she's going to bring soup. And then this works well with this. And like the food was just amazing, but so was the event. So it's really cool to see like that kind of come together. What is the most exciting thing you're looking forward to about your festival this year?
Oh, this year I'm looking, firstly, we have a new venue.
Cool.
And it's more closer to town, so at Launch SA.
Okay.
It's more intimate, and so I like that because I think last year we had a bigger space, and you lose the essence of the community. So that's one of the most exciting things. And I believe this year I'm more relaxed.
More relaxed?
It was our first last year, and
And so are you a perfectionist? I know the answer to this, okay, but are you a perfectionist or are you like, let's roll with it and then learn and as we go, or like, where's the balance for you?
I'm a recovering perfectionist.
There you go, recovering perfectionist. Were you still recovering last year's event?
Yes. every first time event, I'm like, it has to be this way, and then it's like, oh well.
Once you execute well, you're good, right? And that's the thing about like, and you know this, right? About like events, you can plan as much as you want to plan. You can have every detail documented and ready to go, and it will almost never go the way you planned it, right? Ever. So you plan for it to be different.
Absolutely. I think also it's, how can I explain this? So I decided to do an artwork showing tomorrow, actually, 2 pieces of art related to food storytelling. And I'd been planning for a month, and it's inspired by a tree stump, like the rings, tree rings, because they represent time.
Yep.
Each ring is a year. And I had this elaborate plan of how it will turn out and what I was going to add. And when I started doing it, it had a life of its own.
Yep.
And then I'm like, this is not what I planned, but this is it. So sometimes even the event will, like, I think life will tell you where it wants to go.
Yep, and it like, but also like, cause like even as event planners, right, we might plan for the event and we're like, this is the impact it will have, this is what will happen, this is what it will do, and then the event will kind of like live its own life, but make that impact, and it's like more organic, and it's like exactly what it needs to be presented. Where is your art showing?
It'll be at the Kava Community Center.
Okay.
It's by the San Antonio Ethnic Art Society, and it's a women's show. And so it will showcase different pieces. Mine is, last year I decided I wanted to do something more than food, because I was like, they'll eat the food and it'll be gone, you know, and I wanted something that they can look at for time. And so I did a charcuterie board. I didn't make the wood, but I did like clay food.
Oh, okay.
I painted it individually. So it's like strawberries, raspberry, chocolate, waffles. And I said, okay, I'm going to share it with the world, like a little cafe like this, and have like plates and something. And then I decided to do the canvas with the, inspired by the tree rings, like sharing my life. That kind of went its own way. So yeah, so I said I was scared. So it's something I haven't done before, and I'm willing to challenge myself.
So this is the first time you've got art kind of being shown in a, oh, that's exciting. When is it showing?
It will be tomorrow, so it might be past by then, February.
Probably.
Today's 19th, so February 20th but it'll be there, it'll be for a month at the Kava Community Center.
Oh, so it'll be on display for a month. Oh, awesome.
And I have some food that will be kind of accompanying my story as well.
Like edible food or more clay food?
This is edible now.
Okay, cool.
I wanted to bring appetizers. So the canvas is actually the food is the art. The canvas is just there kind of to supplement.
Okay.
But it lasts longer. So the food will be items from, I'll make tamia, which is known as falafel as well.
Oh, okay.
We call it tamia where I come from. And just have some little snacks, pita bread. I made some fresh hummus, some salata aswad, which is an eggplant salad with peanut butter. And I'll have 2 desserts. Like in South Africa, when I was in boarding school, we used to have this amazing dessert called malva pudding.
Malva pudding?
It's almost like sticky date pudding or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Pudding. Oh my God, that thing used to be with custard.
Yeah?
Heaven. Yes.
And you're going to have some of that?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to have malva pudding, and I'll have some chocolate chip with pecan, because I'm like, this is now like a piece of me from America, like the chocolate chip cookies with pecan. Pecans are grown in Texas. And then maybe an oatmeal.
Okay.
Oatmeal cookie as well with some dried apricots, because we eat a lot of apricots in South Africa in certain recipes. So it's kind of bringing everything together again.
Yep. Yeah, so like when you said that you'd have some appetizers, I was thinking, and I don't know why I was thinking this because I know you, I was thinking like, you know, what you typically have at things like that. Maybe some crackers, maybe a couple things of cheese, right? Like that type of thing. But it sounds like you're really kind of, but I guess the food is the art, right? So that is the focus. That's really cool. Awesome. And so what about community involvement for Food Horizons? Like what types of things do you need from the community? How can people get involved? What does that kind of look like for you?
Wow, for me, it will be come attend some of our events. Go to foodhorizons.us. Follow us on Instagram as well and Facebook. We'll be sharing more details on our events. Follow us online, attend our events, read the food report. It's on Substack. We've got a lot of articles. I was actually going through it today. I said, oh, look at you. You did a lot of writing.
Nice. What is the food report?
So the food report is basically industry insights and news. It's the theory part, I guess.
So it's like an aggregation of everything that's kind of going on in the industry
Yes.
in one document?
Yeah.
Okay.
Share like food news, like top 5 trending news. I'll write an article, and every year I create a food and beverage industry trends report where I kind of go through everything and say, hey, this is what's going to happen in 2025. These are the areas and how you should prepare. And that is more geared towards professionals,
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and then so what is your favorite food? Your favorite thing in the world to eat?
Oh, I love desserts, but fried whole tilapia.
Fried tilapia, really?
Whole with the head, bone, and egg.
Oh, with like
Yes.
Oh, why? What does that do? Like,
What is wrong with you? I grew up by the Nile, okay? So you season it really well.
Can't you season it without a head, though?
No, that's all the flavor.
Really?
Oh
Where
my
you
God.
actually eat the head?
I tell people you have that, and then you have my creamy spinach with peanut butter. Oh my God. And a bit of like a salsa.
Okay.
Or kachumbari, like they call it in East, but salsa, tomatoes, onions, a little bit. Oh my God, that thing's so good. And asida, which is like almost like polenta.
Okay.
Yeah, we have something like polenta, but it's called asida or posho in different countries, or ugali or pap in South Africa. It's just a mixture of water and flour.
Okay.
It could be mostly wheat or not wheat, maize. Sorry, maize or something. Yeah, and make it into like it's like a porridge but thicker. That's what I'm saying, polenta almost. Yeah, it's like a staple starch.
Okay.
Yeah, that is heaven.
And so, one more thing before we kind of wrap up. So, why does the head need to be on the fish? Like, so, don't get me wrong, right? There's this place like in Cancun where I would always go every time I'm down there in Mexico, and it's right there on the water. They would catch. It's like a red fish, red fin. I don't know what it's called, what the fish is, but they would fry it. And easily the best fish I've ever had, but it would come with like the first time I ordered it, I was caught off guard because it had the head, it had all of the fins, it had like everything, right? Best fish I ever had. But I feel like if they cut the fins off and cut the head off, it would still be the best fish I ever had. So like, why does it need to be there?
By the way, the head is delicious.
Like the
Yes.
brain? Like
That whole head, the eyes, everything, delicious.
You eat the eyes. You can eat the eyes.
Yes, you can eat the eyes. Everything in that whole fish can be eaten.
Really?
And if you cook it a certain way, even like the bones can be fried and it's like so crispy. The best place I found amazing fish, the Korean zoo, like the open like this. I forgot its name. And it was a mackerel fish, and we're in California. By the way, California has the best food in America. The freshness, the quality of the fruit, my God.
Makes sense.
Try it, yes. It was called, where was it? It was in San Gabriel. Oh my God, it was so good. So whenever I get an opportunity, I always make sure to get fried fish. And I found out here in San Antonio, you have to go to the El Mariscos, like the Mexican-owned restaurants. They do the best job of fried fish.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. And I guess I will. Maybe I'll try an eye. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like I'll have to work up to that. Awesome. Cool. Is there anything else about Food Horizons that you want to share with our audience that we haven't covered or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. So we have another amazing panel discussion coming up in April 24th at Lunch SA from 6 to 8 p.m. And we're going to have another amazing discussion with different stakeholders. We have a doctor who specializes in nutrition, health and wellness, and specifically weight management, sharing his own journey, but his expertise. We have a chef, of course, as always, and we'll have probably a policymaker as well. So come and check it out. And on October 25th, right after Startup Week, we'll be at Launch Essay for Secret Food Stories Festival.
Perfect. Amazing. So that's October
25th.
October 25th.
It's a Saturday, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Delicious food, delicious education.
And
awesome.
music.
Thank you so much for joining us, Asantewaa. This was amazing conversation. It was great learning about Food Horizons. Thank you for joining us on Beyond Giving, the best nonprofit podcast on the Boost Network, sponsored by Nonprofits HQ and the Boost. Look forward to seeing you next week.